بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف المرسلين وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين وعلى من تبع هداهم إلى يوم الدين. Indeed, after praising Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and passing salutation upon His Messenger Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, we are at the moment finishing believe it or not, 5th of the month of Ramadan. Tonight is going to be the 6th night of Ramadan. How quick it is. How many days we fasted? 5. Tonight is the what? The 6th night, isn't it? Al-Khamis, Al-Jumu'ah, Al-Sabt, Al-Ahad, Al-Ithnain. Tonight is the 6th night. We got 2, that means 5th of the Ramadan is finished. How quick it is. Subhanallah. So, the topic that we have discussed last week was to do with the ejaculation. And I will repeat that because there was a question and also somebody was following me up with this issue regarding the masturbation, because he told me that somebody who is known amongst youth who makes it allowed or halal based upon the opinion of Imam Shawkani rahimahullah. The book that we're talking about is called Bulugh al-Muna fi Hukm al-Istimna, the Imam Shawkani. This book was checked up by our Shaykh Mashhur Hafidahullah, in which he had elaborated in the book in elaboration that you don't see it anywhere else. And he had said at the beginning that Imam Shawkani, by the rule of his to say that masturbation is not a sin, he did not deal with the proofs that the other side, which says is haram, in a proper manner in terms of discussing those proofs. He had let them to go by without discussion. If I want to go through that book, it's going to take us more than one class, but we're going to take the cream of the crop. First of all, when we say the ejaculation does not break the fast, we're not talking about the rule of ejaculation if it is done by the wife or by something else. We're talking about, that is, according to some of the scholars, that ejaculation is not one of the fast breaks. And our Shaykh al-Albani rahimahullah, in his book Tamam al-Minna fi at-Ta'liq ala Fiqh al-Sunnah, in which he discusses the saying of Imam Sayyid Sabiq. Sayyid Sabiq is the one who had done or written the book Fiqh al-Sunnah, even though that he's from the Ikhwan Muslimin. But he was in that book, had done very well. Shaykh al-Albani had praised that book, but at the same time he said that this book was considered to be a Wahhabi book by some of the Ikhwanis in a sect or a particular area in Syria, and they will not teach it. So the book is great, but there are things there that needed to be elaborated, and that is why the Shaykh al-Albani made his book called Tamam al-Minna. Al-Minna means the blessings. This is to complete the blessings of this book by elaborating on it. So he brings the saying of the Imam Sayyid Sabiq rahimahullah. He says, Al-Istimna, ejaculation, whether it is the reason of it, the kiss of the person to his wife, or hugging, embracing his wife, or whether it is with the hand, all of that would invalidate the fast and would entail the compensation of that day. So our Shaykh al-Albani rahmatullah, he says, to elaborate on that sentence, he said, there is no proof to invalidate the fast and to make the ejaculation like the intercourse. For verily, this is not clear. And that is why Imam al-San'ani, he had said, that is the correct opinion, that there is no compensation, making up, and there is no expiation except upon the person who makes the intercourse. and to make the intercourse like the one who ejaculates is not something which is correct methodology. And Imam al-Shawkani and Imam Ibn Hazm also they supported that is the ejaculation does not break the fast. But this has nothing to do with the masturbation we're going to be talking about in a minute. So they say, and our Shaykh al-Albani says, that to make the analogy, qiyas, that the ejaculation, like the intercourse, there is a difference. And the proof for that those who had said that this ejaculation would break the fast, they did not say that they should make the kafara. The kafara which is freeing the slave and fasting the 60 days or feeding the 60 poor people. Because they said that the intercourse is greater issue. And that is why we should not have an expiation for ejaculation. We say, Shaykh al-Albani say the same thing. That is, the correct or the root, the original of this matter is that there is no breaking of the fast because the intercourse is greater than ejaculation. So we don't really, the same thing, make the ejaculation like the intercourse. Just like you did not make it in the way of that there is no expiation in the one who ejaculates, we say that there is no breaking of the fast because it's not like it is not like the intercourse. So that is what Shaykh al-Albani also he brings also that he says that Imam al-Rafi'i he says that the sperm and the semen, if it comes out by ejaculation, by bringing it out deliberately, then the person had broken the fast. Because he says that intercourse without ejaculation is a fast invalidator. If you intercourse without ejaculating, it will invalidate your fast. So, bringing out or ejaculating the sperms with some lust, then it has more priority to be a fast breaker. This is his argument. So Shaykh al-Albani replies that if it was true, then you should say as well, expiation is more of a priority upon the person who makes ejaculation than the person who makes intercourse without ejaculation. You understand that? So if you made this analogy, go further as well. Just like you have said that, why don't you say then that it is more of a priority to put an expiation on the person who ejaculates than not onto the person, because it's more stronger than the person who had intercourse without ejaculation. And they don't say that. And look at the contradiction. Look at the contradiction they are falling into. Also, this is beside that they are opposing the madhab of the Salaf. They are in contradiction to the athar and the text that's coming from the Salaf Salih, that mubashara, which is hugging, embracement, without even having any clothes in between, without intercourse, it does not break the fast, even though it will bring ejaculation. And he says, the Shaykh al-Albani had mentioned some of those akhbar and athar and ahadith in a silsila sahiha underneath the hadith number 219 and 221. Some of that, like Aisha, she said, when she was asked, what is permissible for the man to do with his wife when he's fasting? She said, everything except for intercourse. Everything. Except for what? Intercourse. So ejaculation is from everything. The ejaculation is from everything. So everything except for the intercourse. And this is narrated in Abdul Razzaq, but in his Musannaf, which is with authentic chain. And this is from the proofs as well Imam Ibn Hazm had used to argue his case. And also Ibn Khuzaymah rahimahullah, he had given a chapter title to some of the ahadith which we have mentioned, when he says the chapter of al-rukhsah, concession, to make mubashara, which is skin to skin, hugging, the man to his wife, skin to skin, without clothes. And that is not the intercourse. it is concession for the fasting person. And the proof for that the name or a single name can be used to describe two actions. One of them it is to be allowed, and the other one it is to be not allowed. For verily, he said, the mubashara, Allah Azza wa Jal had said about it in his book that the mubashara means jima', intercourse. And the mubashara, the book says, the Quran, that the jima' is not allowed. But the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam also he said, the jima' makes the fasting person break his fast. And also the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, with his action, he had indicated that the mubashara is, which is the one less than in the intercourse, it is to be permissible in fasting, and it is not disliked. It's not just disliked, it's not disliked. So what you should be knowing in this issue, two factors. That number one, that ejaculation without intercourse, it does not break the fast. So the person who makes mubashara, embracement to his wife or anything like this, it is not a fast breaker. But we do not advise the person who is fasting, especially the one who got strong lust, to make mubashara when he's fasting, because he might fall into the thing which is prohibited, that is the intercourse. So, and that is why the principle called saddu dhari'a, to block the path that would lead to something which is not allowed. So the Prophet ﷺ, he said, he who grazed or herd his sheep around the pasture that does not belong to him, because his sheep is so close, his sheep might go into that pasture which does not belong to him. So the same thing, if you're getting close to the prohibited, you might fall into the prohibited. So when Aisha radiallahu anha warḍaha, she said, when she talked about the mubashara of the Prophet of Allah, she said, he used to make mubashara while he was fasting, but who is amongst you can control his lust? His lust here, meaning to make the intercourse. Here means the intercourse. So, the other issue regarding the author, Sayyid Sabiq, Shaykh al-Albani says, that when he had mentioned the masturbation using the hand, for verily, it is not permissible for anybody to make this attributed to Sayyid Sabiq, that for him it is permissible to make masturbation with the hand, because he was mentioning is just to say it is invalidating the fast according to him, and we don't agree with that, but he does not mean that it is halal to do it. As for the rule of masturbating yourself with yourself, then there's something else. And the Shaykh al-Albani, he said, I have made a big discussion regarding this issue in my book, An-Nikah. And also, Sayyid Sabiq, he had made this in his book called in Kitab An-Nikah, where he said it is haram. As for us, Shaykh al-Albani says, we say that the haqq, the truth, is with the ones who made it prohibited to make masturbation with yourself, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he says in Surah Al-Mu'minun, verse 5 to 7, وَالَّذِينَ هُمْ لِفُرُوجِهِمْ حَافِظُونَ, the ones who are protecting their private parts, إِلَّا عَلَى أَزْوَاجِهِمْ, except for intercoursing with their wives, أَوْ مَا مَلَكَتْ أَيْمَانُهُمْ, or the ones who are under their possession from the slaves, فَإِنَّهُمْ غَيْرُ مَلُومِينَ, for verily they're not going to be blameworthy for that. فَمَنِ ابْتَغَى وَرَاءَ ذَلِكَ, but he who seeks something beside that, beyond that, which is like the masturbation, فَأُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الْعَادُونَ, those are the ones who are transgressors, the ones who have done something bad. So, we will not say, Shaykh al-Albani says, it is permissible if, for the one, even the one, he is about to fall into zina, except if he had used that prophetical approach. What is the prophetical approach here? The Prophet ﷺ, he said, the person who is from the youth, يَا مَعْشَرَ الشَّبَابِ مَنِ اسْتَطَاعَ مِنْكُمُ الْبَاءَةَ فَلْيَتَزَوَّجْ, who's amongst you capable of getting married, then let him do so. فَمَنْ لَمْ يَسْتَطِعْ, if you're not able to make the marriage because of social issues, because of financial issues, then عَلَيْهِ بِالصَّوْمِ, fast. For fasting is wija. Wija in Arabic means castration. And the castration means removal of the testicles. And the testicles are the reason behind producing the seeds. So basically the fast is the wija. removal of the testicle. So he says, the Shaykh al-Albani, we deny strongly upon those scholars who makes fatwa to the people who are youth that it's permissible to make the masturbation because of fear of falling into zina, fornication, without commanding them to do this prophetical medicine. What is a prophetical approach? First, get married. Then if you can't, then you go to the siyam. Then after the siyam, yes, it's allowed. Our Shaykh Mashhur Hafidhahullah, in his introduction to the book that he had checked, Bulugh al-Muna, fi hukm al-istimna, that is the ultimate rule regarding the rule of masturbation, to the Imam al-Shawkani rahimahullah, in which he had summarized what he had ruled regarding the istimna. He says, for verily, if the person had done the masturbation in order to decrease the strength of his lust and because of his attachment to it, then it is haram. But if this action was done to push away the evil of zina or liwat means sodomy, which was about to take place, and the Shaykh, he was talking about it a long time ago, it's taken place already, then it is permissible after he tries the fast and strives against his whims and desire and fears Allah as much as he can. So we say, do not look at the people who say it is permissible, regardless of their names. And their names, maybe they're famous in this country, but they're not known in the market of scholars at all. But unfortunately, he who wants to do something and he wants to make it halal, he could find somebody who would say to him it's halal. Do you understand me? So if you are really looking to hear music, there is some people whom they call scholars who would say that it is halal. So there's a market there, you could shop around. Google makes it available for you to shop. We call it fatwa on shop. You know, shopping fatwa, same thing, you shop fatwa here. Just like now at the moment, you're shopping as well regarding the the Taraweeh prayer. There is as well sale, Taraweeh sale coming on. So there's one person who pushed to me an image of a Sheikh. He is in Birmingham, where he is making short Taraweeh, half an hour, including Isha, and with a nice sound. So this is what the Sheikh, what our Prophet ﷺ had said, that the people start now making the person who leads them the ones who are good in voice, good in sound. Yet knowledge-wise, zero, nothing. So يقدمونه, why they want to make him to be imam? Because he's got mazamir, nice voice, melody. But in terms of knowledge, absolutely he is bankrupt. And that is what is happening. We have Taraweeh sale, so people saying, come to us, we'll make it shorter for you. Allahu musta'an. So we say, do not look at those people who makes it halal. And unless you look at the introduction of it, if you are about to fall into zina, first try, marry. If you have one wife, it's not enough, marry a second wife. Maybe it's to marry a second wife more difficult than marrying the first wife. If you can't marry, then go to the fast. But not because if you want to, you're enjoying it, you're doing it, because you're lost, then you're doing it. No, it's because you're about to fall into zina. That's why you're doing it. So you make sure that as well, not to go to mixing and lower your gaze. Remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala every time you look at a woman. And I'll tell you what, if you look that the women who are not abiding by the deen, they're not clean. True or not? They're not clean. Eh? The clean woman is the one who is what? Religious. The person should be motivated only when he sees a woman who is a sister who is what? Abiding with her deen. That's the one should motivate him, not the one they can't even clean themselves in the toilet properly. They don't clean themselves in the toilet properly. It's all of it's to do with makeup from the front. but it's not clean inside. And we should remind you of what the Prophet ﷺ, he said, "In tasduqillah yasduq." Yasduq. If you are truthful to Allah, Allah will be truthful to you. If you want to be a shaheed, Allah will give you the shahada. Just like that person. He came to the Prophet ﷺ, he said, "Messenger of Allah, I didn't follow you for this." Because the man, he just embraced Islam, and then there was a little booty. So the Prophet gave him a share. He said, "What is this?" He said, "It's your share from the wool booty." So he went to the Prophet of Allah, he said, "I didn't follow you for this. I didn't embrace Islam for this. I embraced Islam to be hit with an arrow. There." And he pointed to where? To his throat. He said, "In tasduqillah yasduq." If you are truthful to Allah, Allah will be truthful to you. And the battle started again. And then he was hit by an arrow. He was brought to the Prophet ﷺ, and he looks at the arrow where it's being hit, exactly where he pointed. Because he was what? Truthful. Allah gave him what he is truthful to. He was hit with the arrow. And the Prophet ﷺ, he said, "Oh Lord, I testify that this person migrated to your religion, migrated to your deen. What more do you want than the Prophet ﷺ giving you the testimony?" That's the Jannah. Can I ask the brothers please come forward to this side? I can't really tilt the table 360, so just make it to one side. Barakallah. Barakallah. That's better for me because we target you. In Al-Fatawa, Sheikh Islam ibn Taymiyyah, he says, as for the person who masturbates, then he is breaking his fast. We say that is already narrated in Musannaf ibn Abi Shaybah and Abdul Razzaq and others, that Jabir ibn Zayd, he was asked about a man who looked at his wife in Ramadan and he had produced or discharged sperm because of the lust. Does he break his fast? He said, no. Companion says, no. And he should complete his fast. Our Shaykh al-Albani used to say, this hadith is sahih. And Ibn Khuzaymah, he had made the chapter title for it. And Imam, one of the ones of the Hanafiya, they say, no. Producing the semen's ejaculation does not break the fast. Look, as I said, into the book of Shaykh Mashhur in his elaboration on Bulugh al-Muna fi Hukm al-Istimna. Regardless of the issue, we say that in terms of it's haram to make masturbation, it's haram. But regarding the issue of that it is a fast breaker or not, if we have the other side said it's a fast breaker, then it should not be a point of split. Do you understand me? I don't follow him. Why? Because he says, producing the semen breaks the fast or does not break the fast, whatever. Ejaculation does not break the fast. And that's why I don't follow him. I think he is even from the Shia. Why is that? That's a difference of opinion. I'm not talking about being haram to masturbation. I'm talking about whether it breaks the fast or not. Okay? So for value we have respected scholars like Shaykh Ibn Uthaymeen rahimahullah, in which he says that if the person, and he makes condition, produces the sperm while he's fasting, produces the sperm, that means the sperm, and it is out of lust. So إخراج المني بفعل من الصائم بشهوة, and he makes clauses here, which are the conditions, then it's a fast breaker. So he says إخراج المني, that means you have to have a discharge. So ejaculation is not the shaking of the private part. So if it shook and there's nothing came out, nothing on you. Fast will not break. That's Shaykh Ibn Uthaymeen's opinion. And if it came out without lust, like because of illness, some people come with illness, so it came out with no lust, it will not break the fast. That's another as well condition for that. And then he says بِفِعْلِ الصَّائِمِ, that means you are the one who is trying to produce the semen. So if a person looked at his wife, kissed his wife, and he ejaculated, no problem, no, it does not break his fast. But if he's deliberately wanted to kiss the ejaculate, deliberately embraced the ejaculate, deliberately asked his wife to, masturbate for him as well, to ejaculate, all of that, then it will break the fast. Do you understand? That's the Shaykh Ibn Uthaymeen. What is his proof? His proof is made of, he says, dalilun murakkab. A proof which is made of two proofs, not one. First one, which is hadith sahih, that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Sahih Bukhari and Muslim, on the authority of Abu Hurairah, he said, Allah said, Kullu amal ibn Adam, all the acts of the son of Adam is to be for him, except for fasting, as it is for me, and I will recompense for it. Then he says, يَدَعُ طَعَامَهُ وَشَهْوَتَهُ. He leaves off his food and his shahwa. The word shahwa here, okay, is interpreted by us is to be intercourse. But shahwa, in general meaning in Arabic, means lust. Shahwa. Shaykh Ibn Uthaymeen included into that shahwa the word what? Ejaculation. Do you understand that? Shahwa. That's where the point goes weaker. So he says ejaculation part of the shahwa. And then he said the second proof that the shahwa here, it means ejaculation, is the other proof, which is when Ahlul Suffa, the ones who have bankrupt, financially skinned, nothing, workless, jobless, came to the Prophet, they said, Messenger of Allah, ذهب أهل الدثور بالوجوب. The ones who are rich, they've taken the reward. How? Prophet was asking. He said, we pray, they pray. We fast, they fast. They make, everything, but they have something we don't have, the money. They spend in the ways of Allah. We can't. So they have taken the reward, we have got nothing. So the Prophet ﷺ, he said, didn't you know that in your tasbih and your tahleen, your takbir, there is a sadaqah? So you say, MashaAllah, you make a sadaqah. So without spending money, tasbih is sadaqah. Even if one person, if he approaches his wife in marital relations, there is a sadaqah. So the companions, they thought only, hang on, sadaqah is to be, you do something that you don't really love to do. But here we love to approach our wives. And will we have sadaqah in that as well? We want to do that every day, every second. We have sadaqah on that. Prophet of Allah, a person of ours, comes to his wife, we will have sadaqah. The Americans are intercourse. He said, أَرَأَيْتَ إِنْ وَضَعَهَا فِي حَرَامٍ. If, what do you think, he's using now qiyas, Prophet. If he had to put it, this shahwa, Prophet said about the shahwa. Compare us. أَيَأْتِ أَحَدُنَا شَهْوَتَهُ. Person comes to his shahwa, yet he will have a sadaqah reward for that. He said, if, أَرَأَيْتُمْ. How about, if you, what is your idea? What is your perspective regarding this issue? That if he had put this shahwa into haram, would he be sin? He said, yes, Messenger of Allah. Then he said, if you put it in halal, you will be rewarded. So here the shahwa, he said, shahwa means put it, that means sperm. You don't put anything apart from the sperm. Ejaculation. And as I said, that's a weak argument. Why? Because if you're going to explain the shahwa, not the intercourse, your kiss is a shahwa. And the Prophet always used to kiss, so the kiss is not allowed. The kiss. That hadith talks about the intercourse. Put it, that means the private part. Put it, the private part. That is the one, if you put it into haram, then you'll be sin. But as for the semens, for verily, we know there is no such thing, shahwa off, shahwa on with a button. Kiss, shahwa off. Kiss, shahwa on. No, there's no such thing. The kiss sometimes can with full lust, sometimes with what? Little lust. But there is no such thing, kiss without a lust. It has that little lust. So if you have a lust, it will break your fast? Impossible. I cannot control my lust when I kiss. So that argument is weak. Anyway, after this took place, companions came back again to the Prophet. Said, Messenger of Allah, they heard what you have said, and they are doing Subhanallah, Alhamdulillah, La ilaha illallah, Akbar. They're doing the same thing. So they still, they've got an upper hand with their money. So the Prophet ﷺ said, فَضْلُ اللَّهِ يُؤْتِيهِ مَنْ يَشَاءُ. This is Allah Azza wa Jal, fadl, favors. He gives it to whosoever he wants. So as a poor person, you can't complain. Remember, the money should be a test. That's the money. The money should be what? A test. That's what it is for you. But the person who has no respect to what Allah has given him, he thinks the money is out of his muscles. That's why he looks down at the people who are not as good as him or as rich as him. These people. So he looks down at the poor people because he thinks the money is out of his power. Nothing to do with Allah, and he deserves it. And then he starts slandering. وَيْلٌ لِكُلِّ هُمَزَةٍ لُمَزَةٍ الَّذِي جَمَعَ مَالَهُ وَعَدَّدَهُ يَحْسَبُ أَنَّ مَالَهُ أَخْلَدَهُ. Look at this surah. وَيْلٌ, woe to the ones. هُمَزَةٍ لُمَزَةٍ. هُمَزَةٍ لُمَزَةٍ, the ones who slander. Talks about other people. Then the link of the following verse. The following verse talks about what? The money. وَيْلٌ لِكُلِّ هُمَزَةٍ لُمَزَةٍ. The one who gathers money. He thinks his money is going to make him immortal. And that's the people who have no respect to what Allah has given them. So his money makes him immortal. How? He thinks he's not going to die. Some of the disbelievers, they squander their money. How? They give it generously to the science research. But they don't give it to the poor people. You understand that? Why? Give it to the science. Because they want the science to find a cure for what? For death. They want to live immortally. يَحْسَبُ أَنَّ مَالَهُ أَخْلَدَهُ. He wants to live immortal for a long time. So he spends lots of money on science. Not only that, he might give money to be, after his death, to be capsuled into a freezer, until science goes so advanced, and then they will release it, and then they give him the cure, and he be back to life. That's what they do. You know that? They put bigger freezers. So the freezers, these guys, I think the owners of the freezers are really making money out of the idiots. Out of the idiots. They're making money out of the idiots. They're making money. They don't know what the Prophet ﷺ said. Every disease got a cure except old age, except for death. لكل داء دواء إلا الهرم إلا الموت. There's no cure for that. You're going to die, you're going to die. But as I said, those people believe that they're going to be living forever. This is basically what we intended to talk about, the istimna and the masturbation and all that. We're going to come now to do with Qada Ramadan. Qada Ramadan is making up for a day that you have violated or you did not fast, and this violation, either it is for a legitimate reason or not a legitimate reason. He who had broken his fast for a legitimate reason, then it's incumbent upon him to make up for that fast. And the Quran says, فَمَنْ كَانَ مِنْكُمْ مَرِيضًا أَوْ عَلَى سَفَرٍ فَعِدَّةٌ مِنْ أَيَّامٍ أُخَرَ. Who amongst you is ill or he is on a journey, and let him compensate on other days. And also in the hadith of Mu'adha, once you came to Aisha, she said, why is it that we have been commanded to make up for the Ramadan these days when we are on menses, and we're not commanded to make up for the prayer? So she said, are you from the Khawarij? Hawariya? This is how the way we've been commanded, just to make up for the fast. Now, when does the person make up his fast, and how? The person, he should make them up as soon as is possible. Now, when he's available, then he should do it. He should not delay it unless there is a reason. Does he do it one go? Let's say he's got 5 days. Is it in 5 days together? Or he could do them separately. There's two proofs or two opinions regarding this issue. But we say the saying of most of the scholars that there is no compulsion upon you to do them one after the other. And we have proofs for that So فَعِدَّةٌ مِنْ أَيَّامٍ أُخَرَ, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, you compensate on other days. He did not mention that you should do them in order or in sequence. And also Abu Salama, he says, I heard Aisha radiallahu anha, she's saying that sometimes I have a fast upon me from Ramadan which I haven't made and I missed, so I can't do it except until the month of Sha'ban. So this, because of she preoccupied with the matter of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And Abdullah ibn Abbas, he said, no problem to separate those days. You don't have to fast them one after the other. So mutaba'a is maybe better to do them one go, but it is not compulsory upon you. So if you want to do them together, and if you want to do them separately, it's an option. Our Shaykh al-Albani rahimahullah, he says there is no proof which is authentic to show us properly that regarding the separation or making these days together, but we say that the closest correct opinion to that is it is permissible to do both, whether to do them together or to do them separately, no problem, inshallah. But the ayah says, وَسَارِعُوا إِلَى مَغْفِرَةٍ مِّن رَبِّكُمْ, hasten to the forgiveness of your Lord. So the person should, as soon as possible, to make up his days, and the better it is to make them together, so they will be sooner than making them separate. Wallahu ta'ala a'lam. But we don't really compel anybody to do the consecutive days or to do them in sequence. Right. Now we come into the question. The person who had delayed the month of Ramadan to after the following Ramadan, because we want to do them before the coming Ramadan. So you have missed days from previous Ramadan, you should have done them before this Ramadan. Now if this person had delayed them after the month of Ramadan, do you know that there's some scholars, they say that there is an expiation, kafara. We say that there is no proof whatsoever to say that there is a kafara. There is no proof to say that there is a kafara. Our Shaykh al-Albani is being asked, is there any kafara? He said there is no hadith marfu', that means from the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, to obligate an expiation for the person who delays them for no reason after the following Ramadan. We say that he sinned, but there is no expiation. He should do them as fast as he can, and he should not delay them to the Ramadan which is after. Right. Now the person who deliberately broke in a day, he did not fast that day, and he had no legitimate reason. Does he make up for that day or not? So can he have qada? Shaykh al-Albani rahmatullahi alayhi, he says in his book Tamam al-Minna, again the one we've been talking about, that the correct opinion is what Shaykh al-Islam ibn Taymiyyah had said, that it is not permissible, it is not allowed, or it's not open for the person who breaks his day in Ramadan for no legitimate reason. He's not a traveler, he's not ill, she's not her menses, it's not allowed, or it's not open, it's not an option for him, the one who deliberately breaks his fast without a legitimate reason, to go and make up for that day. It is not an option. He has to repent to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and to increase in fasting voluntary. So there is no such thing you're going to make up by saying an intention for tomorrow I'm fasting for the day I have missed deliberately in Ramadan. You can't do that. You have to increase in the fasting of the voluntary days, in order that Allah Azza wa Jal, He will compensate your missed day, which is the obligatory. And the proof for that, the Prophet ﷺ, he said, أول ما يحاسب عليه عبد يوم القيامة, the first thing you're going to be accounted for on the day of resurrection is your prayer. فإن وجد التامة, if it was complete, then it will be written complete. فإن نقصت, but if it was something missing there from the prayer, then Allah would say to His angel, look into his voluntary, compensate his obligatory. And the same thing will be done to the rest of your ibadat. In the hadith it says, وَيُعْمَلُ كَذَلِكَ فِي سَائِرِ أَعْمَالِ. The same thing will be done regarding the rest of your deeds, or your rest of ibadah. So all your ibadat will be done the same. Now, the Sawm al-Nadhr, a person who had vowed an oath, vowed a fast, then he died, is different from a person who did not fast Ramadan and he died. So a person who did not fast Ramadan, he died, you cannot fast on his behalf. Either he's got legitimate excuse, that means he's an old man, old woman, or he's got illness, whether it's chronic or non-chronic, or he was a traveler, he's got a legitimate excuse. Then if he's ill and he did not fast the days and he died, he do nothing. But if he was old man, or one of those people that we pay the fidya, the ransom, which is the old man, old woman, or the chronic illness, or the breastfeeding woman, the breastfeeding man, or the one who is doing hard labor, which we have explained before, and he does not compensate by making up the days, and then he died, and he after Ramadan or in the middle of Ramadan, and he did not feed the poor people, then we, the children, the ones who are in charge, we will feed poor people according to the days that he had lived and he did not fast. Do you understand me? So if he Ramadan, all of it, we feed 30 people. Because he was within those people who are not able to fast and they make fidya. But the ones who did not fast out of non-chronic illness, short-term illness, or a journey, we do nothing for them. But if they vowed a fast, that's it, Allah, I'm going to fast tomorrow, another upon me, and he died before fulfilling that vow, then there is a compensation by fast. Prophet ﷺ, he said, "Man mata wa alayhi sawm, aw man alayhi siyam, sama anhu waliyuh." A person who died, where there is a fast upon him, then his wali, the one who is the closest heir to him, he will fast instead of him. That is not the general fast, because Abdullah ibn Abbas and Aisha, they said that this is the vow fast, not the normal fast. Abdullah ibn Abbas radiallahu anhuma, he said, a woman, she sailed in a ship and she made a vow that if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave her safety and security, that she would vow a month. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave her that safety, and He had saved her from the drowning, but she did not fast until she died. So a woman who is close to her, relative to her, either her sister or maybe her daughter, she came to the Prophet ﷺ and she's mentioned that. She said what had happened to her sister or her mother. So the Prophet of Allah, he said to her, what about if your mother or your sister had a debt? Would you pay it on her behalf? She said yes. And he said the debt of Allah has more priority to be settled. The debt of Allah, which is the fast. So you have to fast on behalf of your mother or on behalf of your sister. As I said, the narration is both. Also from Abdullah ibn Abbas radiallahu anhuma, he said, Sa'd ibn Ubad, the leader of the Khazraj radiallahu anhu, he had made or asked the Prophet for fatwa. He said, my mother, she had died and she had vowed. So he said, fulfill her vow. So our Shaykh al-Albani says that this ahadith tells us with clear cut that the person is permissible for him, not to say incumbent upon him, to fulfill the vow of the fast. If a person died, did not fulfill his vow in fasting, then he could fast on his behalf, but not to fast the month of Ramadan if he did not fast. And Allah Azza wa Jalla, He said, وَلَيْسَ لِلْإِنسَانِ إِلَّا مَا سَعَى وَأَنَّ سَعْيَهُ سَوْفَ يُرَى. Person will not take except for what he had done. So if you have done yourself, you'll take it. Not somebody does on your behalf. So a rich person pays somebody money, if in case I die, brother, you pray on my behalf all my life. So every time you pray another prayer for me. Okay? Nobody can pray on behalf of somebody, nobody can fast on behalf of somebody, nobody can do anything on behalf of somebody, except for what the proof had exempted. So if your father or your mother were able to make Hajj and they had the opportunity, but for no reason, they don't want to make Hajj. For no reason. You cannot make Hajj on their behalf, their son, because they don't want to make it. But if they did not have the opportunity, because they're poor, or they're busy, or they were ill, they're incapable, and they died, you make hajj on their behalf. You must make hajj on their behalf. But if he was willingly not to make hajj, willingly not to pray, willingly not, you can't do hajj on his behalf. So the hajj, yes. The fast, no. The prayer, no. The fast, the vow. Yes. Fast is the vow. Wallahu ta'ala a'lam. Now, if the person, now we come into another topic, which is if the person is fasting and is being invited for food. Abu Hurairah writes, the Prophet ﷺ, he said, if one of you was invited to food and he was fasting, then let him say, I'm fasting. And that is of course not in Ramadan. Nobody's going to invite you to break your fast in the middle day of Ramadan. But a person could be fasting in other days in Ramadan. Right, so if it was a fast which is voluntary, and you know your brother, he would be upset if you don't eat. And if he had done cook a lot of food, then it would be better for you to break your fast in order to, you could say, take a better position with your brother and to make him happy, because he might be upset. And the Prophet of Allah, he told those companions who came with him, invited, he said, لَقَدْ تَكَلَّفَ لَكُمْ أَخُوكُمْ. Your brother had done a lot of food for you. So you better off what? Break your fast and eat with him. If a person is fasting or not fasting, it is recommended for him to give and provide iftar to the fasting person. He who does so, then he will have the same reward, without any deduction from the reward of the fasting person. Now some people ask me, and they've asked me, and they keep asking, I'm inviting a brother for food, but some people in the masjid, straight away he gives him the dates to break his fast. So that person who you invited, which one is going to take the reward? Him or me? The one who gave him the dates, or the one I'm going to cook the whole food for him? So we say, don't worry, the one who cooked the food. The one who has cooked the food and he tells his brother to come, he's going to take that reward. But we're not going to deprive that person who gave the dates. I'll make a fight here. But don't give him the dates. I had the one who invited him. Don't give him the dates, I'll break your hand. So it's not right like that. But the one who has given him that dates, he is going to get the reward of helping the brother to break his fast. But it's not going to be the person who had fed the person, because the food is different. This is to start the break. In Medina, you will see that gesture, which, subhanAllah, you come to the Ramadan, that you find, as soon as you come to the masjid, approaching the Medina, you find people taking you from your hand, not letting go, to take you to what? To his tray where he's giving you the food. Okay? So, like there is you could say, out as a dwa. Like you could choose whatever you want to break your fast with. MashaAllah. So the person will not let go, and they're really nice. Very nice people. But we don't want to end up these people fighting with each other. He's mine, my customer, not your customer. It's supposed to be with a good gesture, inshallah. Laylatul Qadr, we will discuss that next week, because we're going to be getting closer. Next week it will be the 13th night of Ramadan, believe it or not. And we will as well discuss some of the battles that took place in the month of Ramadan. Namely, the battle of Badr and the battle of, we call it Fath Makkah, the regaining of Makkah, inshallah. So we'll talk about that, inshallah, in the few weeks coming. We've got another 3 classes, inshallah, in Ramadan. You have any questions? Please go ahead. Fadal. And who's the brother here? Jazakallah khairan for this. Very handy. The best gift I've ever had. Alhamdulillah. He's already old. He's mentally disabled. Mentally disabled. It's called a mental issue. First question is that the further the child, an adult who is 24 years old, he's been diagnosed that he is 6 years old. Or age of 12. But now he's 24. How is he diagnosed now? How can I work it out? Is he still 12 or grown up? See, you're not really precise. That's why I said to you, he's mental. Any child or any adult who is mental, fasting is not required from him. If he's mental. But the mental could be complete, could be partial. So he's going to be questioned for whatever is working from his mental, from his brains. Okay? So whatever is working and he could really comprehend. Okay? So we can't force him to fast if he can't fast. So he said to you that I found it difficult to fast. This person, then he understands the fast. Then we'd say to him, we'll pay fidya on his behalf. Because it is permanent, long term. Okay? So we'll pay fidya on his behalf. But if he's insane completely, then there is no fidya on his behalf. There is no fast required. Okay? No. Like what? A person who breaks his fast deliberately, without a reason, with any breaker, whether he is going to be intercoursing deliberately, or he is going to be, do you understand, all of that, we say that if he intercourse deliberately, we said that there is a heavy penalty on him, which is, number one, he's going to be invalidating the day. Number two, he's going to be sinned. Number three, he's going to be fasting a day instead. Number four, he's going to be paying the heavy penalty, which is freeing a slave, can't, then fasting 60 days, he can't, then feeding 60 poor people. Now, that's a heavy penalty. So the other person, he cannot make up for it, but he could still repent. Just like the other person, he had made a kafara. This person repented, and he had made what? Voluntary fast. But he cannot make up a day for a day. That's what it is. So which one is easier now? The one who makes a day for a day? Okay? Or the one who makes a day for a voluntary? Or the one who has done all of these four things? I think the one who's four things is heavier, much more. I wouldn't really make it intercourse. So if I had a choice to make a day without a reason, or make an intercourse without a reason, I'll break a day without a reason. Because the other one entails upon me freeing a slave, or fasting 60 days. Whereas the other one, I repent to Allah and fast voluntary. Okay? Now, follow. Can a Muslim restaurant sell food for people to break their fast? Okay. If that restaurant, which is you're talking about in the current situation here, selling to the people in the day of Ramadan to break their fast, either at home, to break their food, to eat their food, either at home or in the shop, they are sinned. But if this restaurant is making it only for food to be taken home for breaking the fast, or for tight things like, for example, people who are travelers, or people who are ill, or people who have old age, and they are eating not openly, then it's allowed. But this is very limited, you could say. But any person who helps other people to do haram is doing haram. And no way you could say I'm selling kuffar. So you're selling kuffar, so what? Like the shop which I entered when my car radiator has gone hot. I stopped in front of the shop a shop which I didn't know that it was off license. So I thought I wanted to get some water to put in my radiator. So I went inside the shop, alcohol. And he, Muslim, he looks Muslim. Salaamu Alaikum, Salaamu Salam. Can I have water for my radiator? What is this you're selling? He said, haram. He said, no brother, I said only kuffar. MashaAllah. When you check, can I just see your ID please? Kafir or not kafir? Allah musta'an. I don't think this is true. So what about you touching it? What about you selling it? What about haram? So selling food. So now we have chicken we made on the corner. Yes? Definitely these are doing it Muslims. And they're doing it to who? They don't want to break their fast because they're doing it now. Not in the afternoon, close to the time of breaking the fast. That's no problem. So we have in our countries, close to the time of the iftar, people selling sweets, people selling, because the people can't sometimes cook it at home. No problem, inshallah. So we will say in the general, when we give the hukum al-ghalib, the general. What is the general when you open a shop in the morning to take away? You're going to give the people to break, not to break the fast, to actually invalidate their days because they're not fasting. So you're not helping. You're not helping in the halal way. That's why it's haram. It's not allowed. Now, if a person wakes up in a state of janaba, is it qada or not qada? I want to answer from here because I think I have. Yes. Anybody? Is the qada? So his fast is valid? His fast is valid. Shuyukh, he said, MashaAllah. They trained. They are valid. So no problem. If the person woke up on janaba, or he had an intercourse with his wife, and he did not have a ghusl before the fajr, and he woke up after dawn, that janaba does not invalidate his fast. Don't worry about that. Wallahi, somebody asked me a question. Certainly a question, I thought he's messing about, and then he thought, he's real. He's asking me, I've been talking to the sister on WhatsApp because of the sake of marriage. Does that break my fast? Subhanallah. And he says, by the way, I'm doing it for the sake of marriage. Okay, I said the answer first of all, it does not break the marriage, but chatting with the sister, even for the sake of marriage, it has to be BBC. See, what is BBC? I said, what is it? The terminology I learned from you guys. That is, you have to put a third party. When you email somebody, you put somebody in the middle, so to go with somebody, so that somebody is sharing you. You're not with your own with her. Okay? So you are chatting, for example, through her wali. No problem, the wali accepts. It's going through the wali, coming back to the wali, yes. But it's in your own, you don't know what's going to happen. It's going to happen. This is lust and shah. So some people think that talking to a woman breaks your fast. So don't you be baffled if somebody asks a question like that. And some people, they're not really knowledgeable. They need to learn about the religion. Now, we've got about 6 minutes, 7 minutes. How many? 9 minutes. What time is it? 9. Oh, we've got 10 minutes. Now, further. Is there any time limit for the fidya? Time limit for the fidya is supposed to be not more the end of Ramadan. So you could, for example, after Ramadan is finished, within those days, so if it is possible to do it at the end of Ramadan, 30th of Ramadan, all the days. If you can't, you could really delay it for about 2 or 3 days, but it's not to be delayed at long. But there's no such thing that could tell you a week, 2 weeks. So if a person had no poor people to give, problem. So we sort of arrange to shift it to somebody else or another country. There's a reason here to go and postpone it. But there is no reason to postpone it. You should really give it straight away. So if the Fajr had started, you could feed the poor person. If the Fajr had started, because you're not fasting, you could feed that poor person. And poor people here, when we say 30 poor people, we don't mean to have 30 miskin. You have to feed 30 meals. So when the Prophet ﷺ told Salam ibn Sakhr al-Diyali, the one who did not have poor people except for his family, he said to feed those 60 poor people his own family. Now you did not ask him how many members in your family. So it could be 5 members of his family. So you're going to feed them all at least what? 12 meals each. Do you understand that? So we are concerned about the 60 meals, not the 60 poor people. So you give one person, because it's very hard to find 60 poor people in a country which is not having poor people. Very hard. Yes, you go to certain countries, you could hardly find anybody who's not poor. I shall all of them poor. Yes, in some countries like that, but some countries very hard. Very hard. Can you find 60 poor people in this country? Very hard. True or not? Very hard. Now, تفضل. So what time does so this person, because he works early, what time does he have his fast stopping, abstaining from food in the morning? 1:30. It's well, mashallah. Yeah, well early. Okay, then, what, 1:30? That's prayer of the night, late night, but it's not the prayer of the Fajr. He cannot. No, he cannot. So he could have his food 12 o'clock again, it doesn't matter. About the Fajr prayer. The Fajr Salah, Ikhwani, it is not allowed to be done before the Fajr time. And here in this masjid, MashaAllah, Tabarakallah, that they leave a big gap between the Fajr and the Salah to make sure that they're well in the Fajr. What time is your Fajr prayer? About 4 o'clock? Please, can you just tell me the time? Jama'ah. 3? 3:27. Now, the more you push it later, the better it is. Always. Better. So 20 minutes or half an hour will be even better. To make sure that you are in the Fajr. You're not praying the night. So, no problem to make, because you don't know the Fajr, to stop before because you don't know the time. But the problem is not to pray within the time where you think it is not Fajr yet. Or if he knows it can't be prayed Fajr. You can't pray Fajr before Fajr. You cannot pray Fajr before Fajr. Some of the masajid in some of the places, like in London, in Tooting. And some of the masajid like in High Wycombe. Their prayer at the moment, their Fajr is 2 o'clock in the morning. Some of them even 1:45. Some of them in my area, their Fajr comes in. You could Google it out in High Wycombe. Their prayer at the end of the month is 1:15. That's not Fajr. That is not Fajr, absolutely. I watched Fajr this morning, this Fajr, and yesterday Fajr as well. It does not come before 3:20. It does not. After 3:20. That's our area, which is close to your area as well. طيب. تفضل. When I'm fasting, any person who's at the time of the fasting hasn't got anything to break his fast, his intention of breaking the fast is enough until you have food. Do you understand me? So the person who does not want to have food until dawn, which is allowed to do that, Prophet ﷺ said, Al-wisal min wadahin ila wadah. That is to make wisal, not to eat, is from sahur to sahur. You can't join the day to the day. So in the time of breaking the fast, you intend to break the fast. Do you understand that? You intend to break the fast. And you could delay the food to whatever time that you are having the food. Okay? Jazakallah khair. Question there?
The question was, the reward of reading the Quran in Arabic.
You want the reward in the Quran, what?
The reward of reading the Quran in Arabic. Is it, would you still get the same reward for reading in English? For example,
Is reward of reading the Quran in Arabic as reading the Quran in English? Well, if the person has tried to learn the Arabic as much as he can, but he's not able, and he read the interpretation in English, hopefully Allah will give him the same reward. Because he hasn't got the ability. So this person who is an Arab, and he can't even read the Fatiha, and he prays by saying Subhanallah, Alhamdulillah, La ilaha illallah Akbar. That's it. No Fatiha. And this is the boy of Mu'adh ibn Jabal. He's not Mu'adh ibn Jabal, it's the story of Mu'adh ibn Jabal.